hot summer, not just the weather, but plenty new lightsabers this season.
Welcome to the Saber Factory.
Hello there, Kevin here, thesaberfactory.com as usual. In this summer digest, I'll show and demo the latest additions. 3 new stunt models. We have Cal Kestis, we have the DarkSaber, and Anakin's Revenge of the Sith stunt saber. Also 1 new dueling hilt, it's the Ironclad. It comes in 2 hilt colors, and a new replica, Darth Nihilus lightsaber. Finally, I'll show you a new saber stand with engraved character plaques. It's hiding right there in this box, so let's dive in. Some quick information before. I've announced on Instagram that we'd be releasing an anti-gravity saber stand around August. So, you know, the floating lightsaber stand. Nexus is finalizing the launch of production, so it's coming soon, I think this August, and it will be on the SABERFactory.com at $159 US launch price. Contrary to another model that was also announced for release soon, this one uses a system that I do prefer. It's an invisible magnet system, if you will, that has my preference because it's a magnet puck that goes in place of the blade with a retention screw, as you would, you know, with a blade plug. So the hilt stands upright in the saber stand, contrary to some other model that is being announced with other vendors. Talking about other upcoming products, Xeno 4 is coming soon. So I'm not going to go into details now. We'll have plenty of time for that later. I've gone into some first details on a blog article on the SABERFactory.com as well as an Instagram story a while back if you follow me. But for now, Nexus is planning for a release end of summer. Even if it does release then, I'll be running an internal beta testing and then a public beta before golden release. This will be a brand new tech with its challenges at launch, and from experience, I want to make sure it's ready for release. Then I want, you know, hobbyists to get in on it first, and to make sure the casual saber buyers, we're not too keen on testing new tech, don't get into it if it's still a bit unstable or needs a couple updates. It really is a breathtaking new tech, completely different. So I really want to go through that testing phase, and I'll keep you posted, and of course you'll be able to join in as soon as I believe it's ready for it. So stay tuned. As soon as I know more, I will let you all know. Okay, let's roll and look at those new toys now. Let me make some space. So this is the Ironclad. It's a new mid-range dueling saber, an original design with a rivet-style panels and leather straps. It's available in 2 colors. This one is in brown with brushed aluminum panels, and you also have an orange one with white panels. It's a little bit of a special hilt. Let me explain. It looks pretty cool, but either you leave the blade installed, or you will have to remove this strip of leather here because the retention blade is hiding underneath here. Let me show you. You can remove this, and once you do, there is just a little bit of glue. Take it off. You can put your retention screw for the blade here and attach the blade. So either you're thinking, hey, I want to be able to remove the blade and put it back whenever I want, so I'm going to remove this additional leather strip, or you'll have to go through the effort of doing it every time you want to attach the blade. It's a little bit of a quirk, I admit, but I love the design of this hilt so much that I wanted to give you the option to get the saber in the catalog, because I do think it's worth it. You see, it doesn't take more than a minute to do it, but of course, it's way longer than you're used to with any dueling saber. So just keep that in mind. Either you just delete this leather strap, or you just go through doing it every time. Your choice. So, very nice looking lightsaber. I really love the design, so I wanted to put this in the catalog because it sits in the middle of the range of the dueling sabers. It's a light hilt, 350 grams, 28 centimeters long, good blade retention, sits deep enough. It comes with an included coupler, you know, and it's a serious dueling saber with a single body hilt, making it pretty sturdy. Bluetooth is 5 out of 5 as usual on most dueling sabers, but you know, still good to know. It's got a VHC thread at the pommel here where there is a coupler. It's a male thread, of course, so it works with female parts. You can of course attach a Covetech wheel module. We don't have one the color of this saber, but still, it's a possibility. Charging is in hilt directly, but if you want to access your SD card and battery, you'll need to remove this back panel. Let me show you. I'll turn it off, and you've got 4 screws here with the smallest of your 2 keys. Because you have the charging directly on the hilt, you only really need to access the electronics for maintenance. If you prefer to load the SD card directly on your computer, or if you want to remove the battery if you ever have a problem with your saber. Once you've removed that, you now have access to the 2 screws that when you remove them, you push the button and the USB port, and you can now slide the core out of the hilt. Just like with most dueling sabers in the range, and you can refer to videos on my YouTube channel, but you know, pretty easy. You remove those 2 screws, you push the button in the port, you remove that, and the core will slide out. So I'm not going to spend too long on that. I really just want to give you a good look at this saber. Here, I'll let you have a look at this brown and aluminum color scheme. Of course, you know, RGB button depending on the color of the profile you choose.
The dark sword.
So it stays white and flickers, etc. So, you know the drill. Launch price is $139 in baselit, $169 US in NeoPixel. Available already at the SABERFactory.com. And right, you know, with plenty other dueling sabers with some design flair, and that's what I like. So it's another nice option for that. Next saber, the Cal Stunt. Here's a baselit blade. This is the baselit version. Up, couple turn, the retention screw. There you have it. The Cal Stunt. It's another new stunt saber. And 1 out of 3 for this season that I will present to you in this video. It's based, of course, on Cal Kestis Hero Saber. As always with this range, you know, it takes the most recognizable design nods of a character's saber and it makes it simpler, more ergonomic, better for dueling, and it slashes the price massively. So let's compare it with the Hero Saber, one of them, because of course we have plenty of different variants of Cal Kestis Saber. So obviously it's shorter. There is less machining, if I show you there. There is of course a less complex design, less complex machining. The parts assembly also less complex. You don't have, you know, those little greeblies under the button on both sides. Of course, you lose a little bit. It's more standardized for dueling, but it still looks like Cal Kestis saber. So it would do great on a cosplay without breaking the bank. That's the idea of the stunt range. Let me turn it off just for a second. You'll hear me better. So here, of course, you have the replica for a clean one, not the weathered one. You are at $349 US, and here the Cal Stunt is at $159 US launch price. As always, a launch price is always discounted, and depending on the volumes, the sales and all that, the price may stay there or it may go back to its more regular price. I have some of the best prices on the market, so, you know, launch prices are always a little better. If you watch this video a little later and you see it's changed, it can happen. But launch price is more than half price of the replica. In hilt charging, no slide out core on this one, as you can see. Again, here, you know, the two screws, one that attaches the saber and one that pushes the button, and the USB charging port in the hilt. So it's like a more regular dueling saber construction. Great Bluetooth reception on this one. You can put a coupler or well, you wouldn't need a Covetech module because you already have a wheel, but you can put a coupler. This is a male thread. Here's a female VHC coupler, and boom, now you can attach two hilts. So there it is, giving you one last detailed look of this hilt. I love the grip texture, great for handling. Yeah, you can really recognize Cal Kestis, but in a smaller format and much cheaper. It still looks the part. Great sound, venting there. Still have the little greebly, but you can remove it here if you feel that it's gonna be uncomfortable for dueling. Volume is great, sound is good, handling is great. Anyway, it just looks great. Another great stunt saber, and I think we can move on to the next one. Power on. I'm sure you recognize this one also. Though, I understand it looks a little bit different compared to the prop, the actual replica of Anakin's Revenge of the Sith saber. There's a reason why. This here is actually super light. Really love it. Baselit version. It is the exact replica of the actual stunt saber used by Hayden Christensen for action shots. So you might wonder why this model does have this very particular neck style. But that's because it is based off the actual movie stunt prop. Now, if you compare the replica and this new stunt model here, it's really mostly when you take it in hand that you will see that that it looks like Anakin's lightsaber. Because if I take it like this, I have this very nice choke point here where the neck gets thinner. It's actually giving me a more comfortable grip, depending again on the size of your hands. But once you grip it with both hands, you only see the bunny ears, you know, the grip with the black T-tracks, which is all that it takes to give it an Anakin feeling. Covetech wheel, of course, the same style here for the clamp part, but there is no, you know, control box. That's something that's common with all stunt sabers. So, yeah, once here, you wouldn't know it's not Anakin's replica. And that's the point of those stunt sabers. Let's have a look. It works with a slide-out core, so it's pretty straightforward. But please do note that it's a 7/8 inch diameter blade. To keep the proportions accurate in this case, and also because it's a thin neck in some way, thus not providing a very deep blade retention, overall, it's not a great option for dueling saber. In the movies, the production team would equip this with a carbon fiber rod that would be inserted throughout the whole length of the hilt. But here with the electronics, the polycarbonate blade, you won't have a very strong dueling saber due to that shallow emitter depth and the 7/8 blade format that also forces, the blade by standard is 3mm thick on 1-inch diameter, but here it's 2mm wall thickness. So less durable for dueling. It's not ideal, but it will still work. It will still provide great performance for light to medium dueling. All in all, it's more of an homage of that movie production saber prop that it is an actual dueling saber. It's also a way to reduce your budget if you want a Anakin cosplay saber, because launch price is $189 and the replica, for reference, is $289. So you see why it's so interesting. And giving you one last look and one last, comparison between the replica and the stunt saber, which is slightly brushed. It's not the same chrome finish. Chrome finish is more expensive to make. So, of course, on the stunt saber, you don't have it. But it's also a little bit less of a finger magnet compared to this. So, maybe, it's a win-win probably here. Covatech wheel, slightly smaller formats, more ergonomics, better for dueling with it. Same sound vents, pommel style. There you go. One last look at the Ani Stunt. It's very light. I like it. It's actually super light. Let me check. The hilt is 383 grams. So, I like how the weight is balanced. If you compare it to this one, 515. So yeah. Yeah, I like it. Moving on. This one is gonna come as a little bit of a surprise. It's another stunt saber. Of course, you recognize what it is. It is the DarkSaber Stunt. It is the last stunt model for this season, one that was added to the catalog right before the release of The Mandalorian and Grogu. Easy to recognize, of course. It does retain most of the design cues, but you'll see with a cylindrical format. So let me move the blade aside. Rather than the custom oval shape of the hero replica, here you have the replica, and here you have the stunt saber. I don't know if you can see, but this is a more standard cylindrical saber shape, and this is a custom format. Still, this stunt version doesn't strip away too much of the replica. It's still incredibly heavy, around 1 kilogram. Again, easy to verify. This is 1 kilogram and actually 921. I'm not kidding. It's slightly heavier. So it's still very heavy, very thick hilt walls. So of course expect very poor Bluetooth because it's such a thick hilt. A lot of material, a lot of aluminum there. But of course it has a slide out core for easier setup. just like with the replica, you need to remove that screw here. And once this is removed, you can access the slide out core. There you go. So comparing it to the Hero replica, it's a single tone, so I don't know if you can see properly here. It has a single tone finish, so you don't have this two-tone black, but you have a single tone simple color, black color. It has a slightly less prominent guard piece, and the best feature so far with this one is that it has a double blade format emitter. Inside there, I don't know if you can see here, but you have the shape of the flat blade that I was using first and a cylindrical emitter insert. So with this one, you can either put the DarkSaber flat blade that's included with the saber, or a 7/8 inch regular NeoPixel blade that is not included, but if you already have one, because it's a more standard kind of blade, you can use it, or you can take a spare on the catalog. So yes, 7/8 is not ideal for dueling, but it still makes it capable of spinning, light to medium dueling, and it still can go on a convention with the screen accurate DarkSaber blade. And when you want to have some fun, you can use this one. And
New Horizon.
So maybe not.
The Dark Sword.
As you can see, it just works. You have a variety of retention screw points. This one here, of course, is going to be for this blade, and the other on the sides are going to be better for the flat blade, of course. So this is the most interesting part with this saber, is that you can use a 7/8 inch normal NeoPixel blade. D-ring at the pommel, one last look, and the replica is $339 US in NeoPixel. Only in this Saber Stunt version, this DarkSaber Stunt version, sorry, is $259 US. Again, in NeoPixel, so you have a choice between Xeno 3 or Profi for a slightly higher price. So again, slashed price thanks to this simpler design that is also using a standard slide-out core and can have 7/8 inch saber blades. Nice. And this allows me to move on to the last saber. Last saber of this digest, one of those fan favorites that get requested from time to time, and Nexus listened. It's a superb replica work and also weathering. Because yes, it does come in a clean version or a weathered version. As you can see here, it's honestly a pretty good weathering work. Let me try to get this to focus. So as you can see, pretty good weathering work. I definitely recommend the weather look unless you're particularly good at doing it, or you actually like, to, want the fun of doing it yourself. This saber comes with a catalyst blade plug. It's the Kylo Ren style of blade plugs. I don't know if you can see. And if you take the weathered version, you have a weathered blade plug And so far, maybe you've realized there is something different with this saber. And not just the light here, but the fact that the volume is not very high. And that's because, sorry, this saber has this crystal lighting up here because there are LEDs at the bottom of your core. So it's the same slide-out core format as usual, but this one has LEDs at the bottom, so the sound vents for the speaker are way more muffled, so you don't have a lot of volume, and that has been, so I'm just going to shut it down. A customer, actually multiple customers now, because it was released a bit more than a month ago, pointed that out to me, and at the bottom of the pommel here, here's the trick. You have two screws that you can remove. That's the technique that Nexus found. You can still have that light up crystal, but have a little more volume output. By removing those two screws, you have this little cone that comes out, and now your pommel is more open, you have more air coming out, and you see that's a little less muffled. If I close it again, and without. So I'll try to avoid compressing the sound too much, but I don't know what my microphone will do exactly. So still, if I compare with any other saber, like this one, as you can see, it's still muffled. So that's something to consider. Screen accuracy is not always technically friendly, so Nexus made this compromise here to try and have this light up crystal, and also in the dark you can see it through the vents here at the bottom. You can see some light being shed through. So yeah, but once you take this piece out, you have a little more volume. It's still not on par with any other type of saber, but it still gives you a little bit of volume. That's the compromise with this saber. Maybe they'll change the design and get rid of this light up bead there, just to get the usual normal volume and more bassy sound that other sabers do have. But other than that, I really like the finish. I strongly recommend the weathered version. Launch price is $249 US or $279 US weathered. Last but not least, our lightsaber stand with the engraved plaques. I have a great new saber stand option. It is the same Imperial LED saber stand that, for one saber, that we already had at the catalog at SABERFactory.com, but with a little bit of a twist, with more stuff. Of course, the case here for more secure transport. Then this set of Dexter style 17 engraved character plaques, and we'll look at them in a second. The LED stand, so the remote and the LED stand, you plug it with the USB cable, so we'll do it. I had already presented this stand in a past video. Put a link in the description, so I won't demo all the function. You have the remote with it, so you can switch lights and you can have some breathing lights, modes, etc. So you can refer to the link in the description for it. There's another base stand, polycarbonate stand. So here, of course, I can have this secondary stand and simply insert one of those 4 hilt stands that you have in the box. So we'll just peel the wrap together. Avec mes ongles, ça va prendre 40 ans. And simply insert those here, and you have a secondary basic saber stand. Or, and of course, you'll see you can also use the character plaques like this. Simply place the plaque and the insert and place the saber on it. There you go. Same thing with the pièce de résistance here. You put your character plaque here, and once it's there, put your saber on it, and there you go. So it's a nice upgrade of this LED saber stand. Don't hesitate because you want those stands to be super, tight in there. They might not perfectly fit at first. So don't hesitate to take some sanding paper just to remove if there is a millimeter too much, and then it will insert very tight in the groove. So that's your LED saber stand with the 17 plaques, and let's look at those plaques now. So all the plaques you can see here, you have so Obi-Wan from Phantom Menace, you have Darth Maul, Dooku, Mace Windu, Anakin, Revenge of the Sith, you have Yoda, Ahsoka, Cal Kestis, Obi-Wan, lightsaber from New Hope, Luke, A New Hope, so that's the Graphics, Darth Vader, The Empire Strikes Back, Luke, Return of the Jedi, the DarkSaber, Kylo Ren, Dark Rey, Rey Skywalker, and finally, the Ronin. So those are your character plaques, and yeah, that's all of these sabers, 17. All of these characters are included with the set. Launch price $139 US, and there you have it. So that's it for this time. Stay tuned for that suspended saber stand and more Xeno 4 updates soon. Next time, probably end of September, we may have Kyojuro and Goku's saber, that is here, and the Ashen Relic, that is maybe a new dueling option. If you're interested, let me know in the comment below, and if there's some demand here and on my socials, I might add them to the catalog. Again, I do pick and choose. I want my selection to always make sense and not feel like, it's a huge mess and the website, the catalog gets overcrowded. So let me know if you like those options, mid-range dueling saber with some engraving and weathering happening, and of course another Demon Slayer saber. Like this video, subscribe for more soon. Thank you for watching, and may the Force be with you.
Join me, leave a like and subscribe to this channel.